everybody? We are back. It is Tato Live's favorite Raiders podcast, favorite Raiders channel, favorite Raiders everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit subscribe button, subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at Glen Rockney for Glenn, and of course, pandasups.com, TDL for 35% off. All right, so it's week 18, guys. We're back here, talking Raiders after basically the season's over. Yeah, every season's is gone. There's no more season for the Raiders, and we're moving on to the draft and greener pastures, hopefully, with the head coach look. And that's what we're gonna do today. We're mostly be talking head coaches. The odds came out, and they were interesting to say the least. Would you say that, Glenn?
I would say quite intriguing, interesting. A lot of words that start with an I, a lot of words that don't mean great to me, but they were certainly names on there.
Yeah, so some interesting names that that you could see them doing to try to look smart. Yeah,
I hate that it eventually made sense. Like I'm like, oh no, but they would do that. That's the problem. So that's a tease. That's a tease, guys. That's what us in the industry we call that a tease.
Yes.
We're gonna talk about those.
So the Raiders, they lost last week though, 23-20, right? They covered at least. They covered. Did. I mean, if you're a cover guy and you took the Raiders at plus 3.5, they did do that. Jaden O'Connell came through at the end of the game and made it a 3-point game. He covered for you, but the Raiders did not win that game, which I thought was interesting. I talked about the fourth downs on the TDL show because that was the whole game to me. I feel like, if you do like maybe two of them, maybe we get a field goal, maybe. I feel like that was the whole game, and that's the viewpoint of AP for me at this point now, and that's probably why we're doing more of this head coach thing, because I feel like he was just a little bit too conservative in a big game. Because they win that game, man. They got the Broncos this week with Jared Stidham. Doesn't look like he's playing with McDaniels in the McDaniels offense that he played for 5 years. Yeah. So he doesn't look good, right? He looks okay. I don't know, man. It was just weird to see them kind of just be disappointing, basically.
Yeah, and to me, I was on the other end of that. I thought the offense looked okay. That's a very, just given what it had looked like, I thought Aiden O'Connell played okay. It's probably the thing with Aiden O'Connell is you watch and you're like, there's just a few plays that didn't go well, but for the most part, I'm like, it looks all right. I mean, it looks okay, but there's a couple bad rookie things that happen that we talked about it last time where a rookie mistake happens. And it's not catastrophic, but it's just one of those ones where you're like, man, that can't be a sack there. That can't be a sack. That's got to be thrown at somebody's feet. That's got to be, we have a really good kicker with a huge leg. That can't be thrown at somebody's feet. And there were a few things. People will point to the Jack Jones thing. I'm going to say it right now. I kind of understand why the refs threw the flag because he got too good of a jump. It's like when you hit somebody too hard, but it's a legal hit, but they throw the flag. Yeah, they're throwing it off the sound. They're throwing it off optics. Like, I'm not saying I get it. I'm not saying I enjoyed it. I'm not saying I like it. I'm saying I get it. The PI before that was much more egregious to me. But at the end of the day, like when you let a game come down to bureaucratic stuff like that, I thought the Raiders could have done that. Where I thought the game was lost early was just they didn't get pressure. I mean, they didn't get pressure. The Colts O-line played well against them.
Kicked their ass.
They picked the blitz up really well. And there were a couple plays. I mean, there's that play on the blitz where Pittman catches it when Epps is all over him, and it's like they don't make that play. Where's the game? It's just it comes down to a couple plays. I wasn't as disappointed as I have been in years past when they've I remember being this is a throwback, but Carson Palmer to win the game to send him into the playoffs against the Chargers last game of the season, and he just has a meltdown. And that one hurt me bad because that was a roller coaster year where I had seen Jason Campbell break his collarbone in person. Shout out to Kobe Ford and Kevin Boss for the touchdowns in that game because there were fake field goals and kick returns that won that game. Similar to the Chiefs game, kind of felt like that kind of season to me. And then this time it wasn't Aiden melting down, man. I mean, he was okay. I don't think he's the game changer, but perhaps there's something there with him, and that might. It's interesting to see who the coach hired because somebody might see something.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. especially with the Gruden rumors out there, that Gruden would definitely see something. And
Comments here, that Jason Campbell injury. I was on Mount Davis. So some of you young fans who never or from out of town didn't go to Oakland or something, Mount Davis is way up there. I see Jason Campbell dive and he just doesn't move. And he's like an ant out there. He's small.
yeah,
Great seats. I mean, those were great times. Great. I sat behind Marshawn Lynch's whole family time for the Seahawks. He blacked out or greened out like 3 sections when he was on the Seahawks. It was great times, but Campbell breaks his collarbone and this is like maybe the first, like Twitter's barely around. One guy was like, they're saying it's a collarbone. Everyone goes, oh, in Mountain Davis. Rough, man. Kyle Bowler.
Kyle Bowler came in and traded the farm for Carson Palmer.
And that was the issue. They should have ate the season. They should have just ate the season.
See, because I like that Jason Campbell was doing his job, but I always thought they should get an upgrade, right? And then when they traded for Carson Palmer, I was hyped. He's right, because before that he was really good, right? And
after that he was really good.
And to be fair to him, though, I mean, he got traded there because the thing was when he got traded, I mean, Darren McFadden was balling,
killing.
So I was like, okay, Carson Palmer, Darren McFadden, and then Darren McFadden got hurt, and I was like, oh, so now we're all Carson Palmer, and it didn't work out,
No, it didn't. I remember he had that Thursday night game against the Chargers where he was ripping it down the field. I remember Mike Mayock is in the booth. This is all coming full circle. Mike Mayock's in the booth, and he can still rip it, and he's ripping it down, and we're just like, and you watch it, Denarius Moore. I think they did a couple plays that were like big. I was like, oh man, we got these little wide receivers. We got, I was like, man, they had a good D line at the time. I thought, with Trevor Scott and all those guys. Like, oh man, what? But this, like I said, I have to say this. This didn't feel that bad because it felt like one of those seasons where I kind of still I see something there, like I see something there with this team. Like I actually do. It's not. I don't feel like I have to find good things I like about this team. There's something there, and I don't think they need to shake things up too much.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: Are you pro keeping Antonio Pierce? Because I mean, we could talk about some of the other things that happened in this past game. But are you pro keeping Antonio Pierce?
Absolutely. In fact, I'm pounding the table. The table right now. I don't know if that picks up on the mic. I'm pounding the table right now. I just look. I wasn't worried about his in-game management. I think this is a linebacker coach at the beginning of the year. He was not expecting to coach this team this year. I mean, maybe he heard some mumbling in the locker room and thought perhaps and had some fantasies of coaching this football team this year, perhaps. But I don't think that was ever the plan. So some of these, timeouts in the half, they're frustrating. I hate watching it. They went once again, timeouts going into the half, which was awful. But some of the fourth down stuff's bad. But I can see a scenario where you have Antonio Pierce. Now, the idea is, does he bring Adam Gase in as coordinator? And then that's when I get scared. But does he also just go like, I want to be the 49ers? And he goes, I'm going to make sure we have a good defense. I want to just pluck somebody from that Niners offense, and we run the football. We play action. We hit our young burgeoning tight end. We do all these kind of things. We got some players here. I can see how it can work, and I'd like to take a risk. And he's not a guy that's going to want to – I don't think he's a guy that's going to want to control the whole everything control freak kind of thing. I think he just wants to do his job and coach the Raiders. I think he's the guy.
All right, so one, you kind of scared me with that Adam Gase thing because I heard that Vic article where Adam Gase is still there. Yeah, and I keep seeing those damn stacks and those Adam Gase plays, and I've been thinking, man, it's turned into an Adam Gase offense, and that was kind of a weird situation for me too. It's like Adam Gase comes in, he basically takes over the offense. I didn't know he was still there. I thought maybe he just left. I didn't know he was there the whole time. He stayed in the room. He's basically, I feel like he was the offense coordinator because the stuff they were doing was stuff that he was doing with the Jets, and because he's his version of the McDaniels offense, right? Mm-hmm. So if they keep him there, I mean, I don't even know why you said that out loud, Glenn. I mean, that's just a bad.
I'm just saying, yeah, because like I haven't even told you the worst part of this. What if he fires Patrick? I don't think he would, because I think Patrick Graham gave him, he came in with the reason was the linebacker coach for the Raiders was because of Patrick Graham. So I think he would keep Graham. But what if he's like Marvin Lewis? Shout out
Defensive coordinator Marvin Lewis.
That's probably not the worst thing in the world if Marvin Lewis is D coordinator. It's not, because that dude knows what he's doing. But I just mean, like, to me, I like where we're at. I don't think there's that much. I think Hardigree needs to be swapped out for like a McVay or Shanahan tree, or even Miami, like whatever. They need to just bring that to Vegas. That's all it needs to happen. But they might do too much.
See, my conspiracy theories is revving up here, because finding out that Marvin Lewis and Adam Gase stayed, and then kind of seeing how the offense went, but then looking at the other side, how the defense went, is very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Antonio Pierce does not need to handle the guys, right? Getting the guys ready.
Yep.
He might need some help with some X's and O's. He's a linebacker. Especially he's an old school one.
C-ball, hit ball. Yeah. Yeah. Baseball style. Yeah.
I don't think he's very known for his coverage. I don't know. Maybe you guys can pull up the PFF grades.
No.
05,
Instinct. Ted Williams was a bad baseball coach because he knew how to hit everything, and he's like, why don't you just do what I do?
Exactly.
Right.
Same thing. So Marvin Lewis being there is very interesting, because I thought the defense played a totally different defense since week 9. So that is interesting. I wouldn't mind Marvin Lewis as a DC.
No. I don't hate that.
It's the other side. It's like if you hire Adam Gase, man, you're gonna start a riot. There might be a riot. I don't know. It's just because the offense, there's games where the quarterback couldn't complete a pass. Now, Sam Darnold looked completely awful with Adam Gase. So did Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill did not look good with Adam Gase. He gets traded to Tennessee. He's a pretty good quarterback. He's all right, man. He's not bad. Adam Gase just had Peyton Manning. I mean, it's really the only guy he really ever did anything with. So I kept seeing those stupid stacks, man. It's just reading that in the article, I was like, God.
Now, do you think the fact that they didn't play well down the stretch on offense, they really haven't. So if they didn't play well, because there were the first 2 games, sure, that was the team. They were playing not great opponents. They were, the 2 New York teams kind of struggling. And now, meanwhile, those were pretty good defenses. But do you think that perhaps it's like, okay, Adam Gase is here maybe to help Bo Hardigree or whatever, but for the most part, it's like the offense wasn't humming, But perhaps that might weigh into it, because that's my one thing with Pierce. If I had to put one thing, it's the offensive coordinator. Because even then, you come from the Giants. He came from the Giants. Who you taking from the Giants staff? I mean, or from that old Giants staff that he came from. Like, who are you bringing? Because he'll bring a guy, because he doesn't care about the offense that much, probably. Like he's gonna want, which I'm excited for. I haven't seen this defense play this hungry in a while. Even the Colts game, I mean, like they're still just, there's been just better play overall, and that I'm excited for, and I think it's entertaining as a Raider fan, and it keeps them in games. It's just that offensive hire that would really scare me. I would almost, if I was, so the thing is okay, you're talking about, we're gonna bring all the names. However, there was something that Hondo reported today. Hondo Carpenter. I'm a Hondo guy. I've become one. Shout out to Hondo. He gave me a follow, so I'm gonna just. I'm a carpenter. Let's build. Yeah. Let's build, Hondo. Get him on one of these streams with us. I'm in. Hondo said Brady's gonna be like consulted on these.
Oh, no, because then we might have no.
That's why I'm a little scared. It's not going to be Gase if that's the case, but it might be worse. Might be Bill O'Brien, which I don't hate Bill O'Brien. I'm cool with Bill O'Brien. I am. I'm cool with Bill O'Brien.
See, because that's what I think. Even though, with AP, kind of my thoughts on it a little bit, with kind of where I would go with it, I would look and get a good feel of a lot of other people before I just hire him. That would be my thing. The defense played great. I mean, they are played terrific, and that is his main calling card at this point. he got the Raiders to play defense, which hasn't happened in years, right? I mean, they kind of fell apart this past game. I don't know. There's not a lot of crazy stuff to do in Indy, so I don't know what happened out there. There's only like one a gentleman's club. It doesn't look, it looks eerie. I've been to the combine. It just looked like a great place to go. So I don't know what happened with the defense. It looked lethargic, right? This past game. So yeah, man, that's my thing. And the fourth downs really bothered me. I guess watching the film and seeing how the offense was moving the football, and then they would stall, and then they wouldn't go for it. This has put a little bit of different perspective with me. I would want them to look at other places, but yeah, man.
That's just Zamir White running. I mean, even Zamir White, if we have a more Shanahan style play caller, Zamir White's rushing for like 200 yards that game. Like he looked good in that game, and they just in these short yardage situations, a guy that always falls forward, they weren't using him, and that was where I was the hard agree. I haven't, not that I'm this huge fan of him, but that was where I was like, look, dude, it's 3rd and 1. If you're gonna go for it on 4th down, run it on 3rd. I hate the idea that you're gonna try some trick play on 3rd down and then go for it on 4th. No, do the other, run the ball, and then if you don't get it on 3rd, run the ball, get the 1st down, then do the trick play on 1st. Like, that's the way I look at it, and they just won't do that.
So I mean, maybe Arthur Smith gets fired.
What's the connection there, though? I mean, I don't hate Arthur Smith. I actually.
Where does Adam Gase come from?
I mean, like what you're talking about? What realm of?
I got one for you. I got one for you. Sorry,
what planet?
I got one for you, man. Here, Jay Gruden.
I'm in.
Jay Gruden might be OC. We're all talking about Gruden. Marvin Lewis, Jay Gruden.
Yeah, no, I'm in. I don't hate that at all. Actually, there's certain guys like I just want a good. I mean, where are they going at quarterback? Is Aiden O'Connell the guy? I have a hard time believing that Antonio Pierce is like Aiden's my guy, unless he just knows him and is just like, man, he's got it. We got to ride it out. I don't hate that as much as a lot of Raider fans do, but yeah, I don't know. Didn't Gase come from Nick Saban? I saw somebody say Gase came from Nick Saban. Is that true?
No. Gase came from Josh McDaniels. He was Josh McDaniels' wide receiver coach, in Denver. That's why they brought him in, because he runs McDaniels' offense, but it's like a different version. That's why you see the stacks, man. As soon as I saw the bunches and the stacks, I was like, oh no, and I was terrified.
Yeah. No, there's actually some really good questions in the comments that have my gears turning right now.
Yeah. I'm saving these.
Yeah, saving. That's good. So no, that's fine. If you want to bring out the big board, let's do it, because Pierce. We've talked about Pierce. I'm a Pierce. Put me on the record. I'm the Pierce guy. I'm Pierce.
I'm in between. I'm in between at this point. I'm kind of like, I actually kind of want to see this last game. Like, I need another game.
They're gonna win, by the way. They're gonna win. Mm-hmm.
That's the only two things I asked: beat the Chargers, beat the Broncos. So
yeah. Keep the streak alive on the Broncos. I gotta have that. Yeah, come on, give me that.
All right, so here's the odds. Which the top one is hilarious to me, because somebody asked that question. Somebody did ask that question. Let me get to that. Or is that? What about Kellen Moore if he becomes available? Well, actually, Vegas thinks he has the highest odds.
What is happening?
Be the Raiders' next head coach. Now, this is interesting to me, because what the hell does Vegas know?
Yeah, no,
what do they know?
No, it's scary. I don't like. I've always, even with Dallas, it's like Kellen Moore leaves, McCarthy calls the plays, their offense looks a lot better, at least at home. Kellen Moore goes to the Chargers. I think the Chargers have bigger problems than their coaching staff, but even then, there's talent on that offense. It doesn't look great. Austin Eckler has his worst year, truly, like really, like his worst year, and that is just weird. It feels like a name. It feels like a young name. It feels like his Lane. If that's Mark Davis's Lane Kiffin, I'm scared. I hope it's not, because he might have the tendencies of Pops, where he's like, oh, I got this young guy you guys aren't ready for. I hope that's not the case because I don't see it with Kellen Moore. I never have. It just as I don't get what the appeal is.
Yeah, because my problem with Kellen Moore is he doesn't have a system. He thinks he's a Bill Belichick of offense. You can't do that, man. I'm sorry. You need a system, my dude.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Kyle Shanahan, like we call these guys like wizards, right? And all these things that they do, but it's really not that they're doing different concepts. They're dressing it up different, moving guys around, messing with defense, getting defenses out of the rules. But it's the same concepts they've been running for years. It's not that crazy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Kellen Moore, he thinks he's gonna do everything. I'm gonna do air choreo this week. I'm like, bro, you can't do that. You're gonna have guys running the wrong routes.
Right.
Then your quarterback's holding the ball too long. He's fumbling.
Just pop
throwing
quizzing,
picks.
just doing pop quizzes every week on scheme.
Yeah, you can't do that in the NFL. I'm sorry. You got to have an offensive scheme because guys are wide receivers. You know, if you are a fan of the channel, you know I'm not a big fan of them all the time, right?
Mhm.
Because they hear the play and they like run out, don't even hear that to protection, nothing. Some of them just hear the play, just run to the sideline, and then they run the wrong route all the time. Yeah. So if that's in a normal offense, if Tyreek Hill's been in a Mike McDaniel's offense for 2 years and he's running the wrong route, what do you think's happening with Kellen Moore?
Yeah,
That's my thing with Kellen Moore. But
I agreed. No, it's scary. That one's scary. I just wonder if he's the top, like, everything right now, and he's just at the top of like every. Because I'd like to see other that's one thing I didn't test out other teams' top. Like what is Washington's next coach? Because Rivera's getting fired. What is Kellen Moore the top of the Washington odds too? Like, is he just this unanimous top guy in Vegas? That's what I wonder.
yeah, I mean that is weird, man.
Strange. And look, this I think there'll be updated odds very soon. Once actual, what is it, Black Monday they call it? Once that happens, I think there's going to be updated odds. I think these will change, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hopefully, yeah, because man, I just don't see them doing that. I mean, they could do it, I guess, but it just would annoy me, right? It just would annoy me. So I see somebody asking about Champ, who Champ Kelly worked with in the past. I'm trying to see where the Bears here. But let's talk the second one. Let's go to the second one. Let's go Ben Johnson. Which is he's gonna be a hot candidate, right? Especially the way the Lions are playing.
Yeah.
The Lions are winning a lot of games. He's getting a lot of credit for what he's doing over there. His run game is terrific.
It is.
He's got a great run game, great run designs. The passing concepts, I think they're a little simple, but if he gets the guys that they have in Detroit to come run the system, that's what he's got to do. You got to, St. Brown is a lot of that. They run a lot of screens, do these screens all the time.
Yeah.
A lot of screens in that offense, a lot of play action with Goff. So that's an interesting one. But your thoughts?
I don't know that we have the personnel to do what Ben Johnson's doing now. Of course, there could be a shakeup, but yeah, St. Brown. I mean, that guy's. I love the guy. I think he's great, and I just think that the GM hire becomes even more important because they've given Ben Johnson a lot to work with. Offensive line, Sewell, was it Ragnow, all these guys that in the middle, like they got a good offensive line. They take Jahmyr Gibbs 12 overall, guy's a stud. Sam Laporta. I mean, like that. How good is that offense? Because there's not really a lot of, and you're better at this than I am, but like the play calls where I'm like, damn, cooking. I don't see that a lot. It's just like, damn, St. Brown's really good. Damn, Laporta is really good. Damn, Jahmyr Gibbs is really good. Damn, that offensive line is really good. And that's what I get scared of because it's like, okay, I want the offensive coordinator to be like, damn, I've never seen this player look like that before. That's when I like the offensive coordinator. When it's like, okay, let's take Trey Tucker. You unlock Trey Tucker for me. Like I want the offensive coordinator to come in and unlock some of the guys that are there because I do think they've brought in some talent to the Raiders. I just don't think it's the talent that the Lions have or even the same style.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. That's my thing with Ben Johnson. Even though I'll give Ben Johnson credit, I think he's found ways to be creative in the second half of the season to kind of keep the offense moving. But there's just some games that they can be stopped. And I mean, and he is a candidate to keep Aiden O'Connell. He's a keep Aiden O'Connell guy. That's what it really Ben Johnson is. And that's what would come with him coming in and being part of this team, is that he might keep Aiden.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep it real, because Aiden, I mean, he's a little Jared Goffish, little Jared Goff in there, kind of just.
He does have a lot of Goff to him. No, I think that's a really good comp. And now they say, I forget who said it. Some announcer said, maybe it was even like Ryan Clark on ESPN. It was very random, like a safety saying this. He said Jared Goff throws the best dig route, or like kind of deep cross, deep kind of in route
He does.
ever.
I mean, wait a second. I mean, he's not better than Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford's
Right.
a
I'm like, okay, let's chill for a sec. But like, I'm like, okay, but that they do run that play a lot, and that is that is catering your offense to the quarterback, which I like, rather than McDaniels. What we just came from is the McDaniels. My offense is me. The quarterback needs to become me, and that. So if they hired Ben Johnson, if they hired Kellen Moore, I'd be a little sad, to be honest. If they hired Ben Johnson, I'd be like, all right, let's see.
Let's see.
And the GM, the draft becomes so important.
Yeah, but to me, he is a big candidate to keep Aiden O'Connell on, because he could turn him into Jared Goff.
No, I think so too, and I think he would keep a guy like Zamir White. I think Zamir White would do really well in his system. I don't think he would. I think he would probably want to keep Jacobs too. I think he'd want the two-headed monster going there. I think they would. Perhaps some of those Lions guys are going to be free agents too, and perhaps some of those guys come over. That's always the benefit of things like that. Now that if Kellen Moore gets the job, I don't want any of those damn Chargers players, but some of the Lions guys, yeah, come on, let's go.
Exactly. All right, let's go to the next one here, which is a familiar person with the Raiders, and comes from a very hot OC. Or hot offense, let's say, with a hot head coach who is, innovative, as they would say in the NFL at this point, and that's Frank Smith, which I think I feel like it would be boring, but I don't think it would. I think it would be a good hire, but it'd be boring as hell. Like who's Frank Smith? You know what I mean? But it would still be a fresh hire, in my opinion, and an offensive guy who's coming from a offensive minded head coach who's doing a lot of college football stuff, and he might want to draft a more athletic quarterback or something like that and work some things around him. I don't know, but I would be excited for that, because really I'm kind of tired of the retreads a little bit. I know the guys in front of him aren't retreads, I would say, but I think it's also Frank Smith is kind of just that out there guy, like nobody's really talking about it, right? Nobody's talking about Frank Smith. People will say, oh, Kellen Moore might get a job. Ben Johnson might get a job. Nobody's talking about Frank Smith, right? So I think that would be interesting to me. It'd be kind of like a Nick Sirianni thing, right? That's what I'm thinking. Like maybe it's like that because Nick Sirianni came. Like, who the hell is Nick Sirianni? And then they're in the Super Bowl, right? And they're in the playoffs for whatever years they're doing, right? So I think Frank Smith might be like that, where it's not a hot name, but he might end up being a good coach because he's a tight end guy too. Right? I think tight end coaches are a little tougher than your average offensive coordinator.
No, I absolutely. If it's not Pierce, I want Frank Smith. I'm putting that on the record right now. I do. Some people will say, like, you go the route of, well, he doesn't call the plays in Miami. Okay. I'll give it to you this way. I can't remember which publication did this. Somebody had sent it to me, but it's either Bleacher Report or The Athletic did a poll around the league who the top coordinator is. Frank Smith was number 1.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, people love him. Now, Frank Smith, some Raider fans, not everyone knows who the tight end coach was. Frank Smith was really, really. Now, everybody knows the story of Greg Olsen finding Darren Waller, where he was just running routes before the game when the Raiders got killed by the Ravens, and they were like, hey, that guy on their practice squad is dope. Frank Smith actually kind of really got Waller going though, like on the team. He was the coach. Foster Moreau had a nice season under him too. And once Frank Smith left the Raiders, I didn't like Waller as much.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember when he went over to the Dolphins offensive coordinator. Now I like it because you bring that offense with you. I think he had some time. Somebody in the comments, I didn't know this. He had some time with Champ Kelly in Chicago too, so that could be interesting if Champ Kelly gets the GM job. That could be kind of interesting. If that was that. But if it was Champ Kelly and Frank Smith, I'd feel pretty good about that. I think you'd be able to bring over some of those, Miami backs or kind of yards after catch guys. His tight ends need to block, and I think you'd love a guy like Michael Mayer. Because over there in Miami, they got Durham Smythe, another Notre Dame guy, just blocking out there. Like it's an interesting offense. It would be a bit of an adjustment, but I don't think he'd mind even O'Connell, to be honest. But also it'd be a wild card because we just don't know a lot about him. But he's not a nobody. I know what you're saying. It's not the top name. He's not a lot of buzz about him on ESPN or things like that. But he's not a nobody. He's been around a while, and I like him. I'm a fan. I actually, he's about neck and neck with Pierce. I only like Pierce because he's already here. Really, more that's really the reason I like Pierce more than him. But Smith is my number 2.
Interesting. Why did he left the Raiders to be the run game coordinator for the Chargers, huh?
Well, it was because there was a coaching change, I think, right? Because you had I guess he left. I don't know if he left during Gruden's final year.
Yeah, that's what it says here from
Okay, so he left during Gruden's final year. Yeah, something.
No, he left before Gruden. He left in 2021 when Austin Eckler was going off.
Oh, so he left the Chargers. Yeah, that's right. So he left the Raiders for the Chargers, and then he goes to Miami. Yeah, but he was there with Gruden though. He was there. I know.
Yeah, from 2018 to 2020.
Yeah,
he was there.
He was there, and he kind of, for whatever reason, whether it's a pay raise or whatever. Like I'm not sure the reason he left, but I don't get the idea that he's disliked in the building. And I think. For Mark, that could be a familiar face, somebody he's already talked to,
Yeah. I mean, seriously.
You've signed a check for Frank Smith in the past,
I'm just looking at this, man. Because Darren Waller got 203 passes, 2,400 yards.
Yeah, that 2019 year when Waller was really jumped on the scene that was 2019, I want to say, or 2020. 2019, I think that was the AB when AB had his little meltdown and we didn't know what the offense was going to be, and then Waller comes out and he's just like going crazy. Like that first week against the Broncos, I remember like that was Frank Smith.
Hey, he's an O-line coach, a tight ends coach,
yeah,
a run game coordinator.
Yeah,
he's probably telling John Gruden like, man, let me run the run game. Tom Cable sucks, and Gruden was like, no. He's like, fine, I'll show you.
I'm telling you, he got voted number 1 in the league in a player poll. Like that's crazy, or not player. I don't know if it's player. It was something. People can fact check me on it. It did happen this week. I did see it that it was number 1, and I saw like Ben Johnson was right. Was close, and then a couple other guys were on there too. But it was Frank Smith was up there.
Yeah. I see someone in the comments said Frank Klein also coached O-line for the. Yeah, man, that's pretty nice.
I like him more than Johnson and Moore, like head and shoulders to me.
All right. So who we got next here? We got
another new guy. Yeah.
I don't want to talk about that one that much.
No, I don't want. No, we're good. I'm sorry. I'll miss that train. If I miss out on that, then and he goes as well somewhere else, I'll tap my chest. My bad on that one, but I'm good. No thanks.
No, because he's waving the white flag as a GM. So. I think Dave Ziegler's going to go back. He's going to be the GM for the Patriots. Watch.
Yeah, good for that.
Yeah. So he's waving the white flag. He's going to stay in New England. Robert Kraft's like, you can't control the team no more. You can stay though. I like you. You just can't make decisions because this is terrible what you're doing.
I never felt like he was leaving New England. I think he's going to stay there, and they're going to hire a GM, and then it might even be good again. Who knows? But whatever. I don't want any part of that Patriot thing. That's its own sovereign state over there. I don't want anybody from that coaching tree. Thanks.
To me, it was interesting that he didn't bring McDaniels back on like as a consultant at all. I thought that was interesting.
I still think McDaniels needs to coach like like Mountain West football or something.
Matt Patricia was on that staff in like 2
Yeah.
seconds, bro. As soon as he got fired midseason, he was on the staff in 2 seconds. Joe Judge was right back. Josh McDaniels is chilling at home still.
Yeah,
He
McDaniel's
didn't even get a
coaching
call.
like McDaniels should coach like Mountain West football or something. Like I think that would be a good after his contract,
Nevada.
something like that. You know what I mean? And like you know where he just can be a complete dictator over the university. And like there, he's a name, so like the university's like, cool, you want to coach here, no problem. Like I think that's where he needs to go. And then whatever, who cares?
It might work for him in college. I mean,
I think it would.
didn't mean
I think it would.
It would. I think it
It
might.
would. I think it would. I think actually it would really work. And he should like Mountain West football. Then he goes and gets his SEC job. You know, I'm saying
Utah State. He's a Utah State man. Yeah.
Yeah. They were like, man, Utah State, man, 51 points they put up the other night. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, I can see it. Yeah.
Joshua did.
Visor.
The
Probably.
visor.
It would work.
Yeah, man. I mean, it might work, man. I mean,
San Jose State Spartans visor. I could see it.
He's the McDaniels or plays Harbaugh.
Hell no, Michigan ain't doing that. Hell no.
All right.
Michigan
So
get Brian Kelly. Michigan might even try to get Brian Kelly to leave LSU.
All right, let's get to the main guy here. This is the big name that a lot of Raiders fans are excited for. We saw some beef online.
Oh, did we? Yes.
I mean, beef. We're getting into heated debates here.
I heard Crips. Somebody was Crips. I was like, bro, this is Jim Harbaugh.
It got wild, man. It got wild. So,
jeez,
this is the hot topip here in Raiders Nation.
Should we even weigh in on it? Is the thing. I don't want. Yeah.
so we're over here.
Yeah, I forgot to call the Crips before I made a take here. Yeah.
All right. We're good here. We're back, guys. We're back. So, Jim Harbaugh, he's the hot name. I mean, he might win the national championship. He might go out with a bang. Yeah. But I think he's going to go to the NFL.
Oh yeah.
I think he's going to the Chargers. Personally,
I think so too. Yeah,
I think that, and I hope he brings Greg Roman with him over there. I really do. If he goes. If you go here, no, don't bring Greg Roman. If you go to the Chargers, yes, do Greg Roman. Hire him, please. If you go to the Chargers, I would love that. But that's my thing with Harbaugh, because I'm sure Harbaugh can come in and he can motivate. I'm sure he can game plan. I'm sure he can make a tough team, build a culture that he would really like, right? I'm sure he can do that. But, I mean, we got to play offense in the NFL. I'm still not a big fan of his offense of Michigan. No. Not a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan of the offense. They started off innovative in 2012, 2011. He's got Alex Smith keeping the ball. He's doing these zone read stuff. But then you got to 2013, 2014. Teams knew how to stop the zone read. And then the passing game is just so uncreative because it's Greg Roman and all those guys that they're running it. So to me, with Harbaugh, it's like, what are you doing on offense? What are you doing? I know you can coach. Cool. Like, who's calling the plays? What system are we running? Because you can't call the plays. It's not here. And then how quick does he take over if he doesn't like it? That's my whole thing. It's all about offense with Jim Harbaugh. I'm sure he can get the team ready. I'm pretty sure they might win some games like year one. I think he's going to get them ready like that. But to me, it's more year two, year three with him. Like, when we get there, like, how is he keep innovating in NFL offenses? You know what I mean? So that's the interesting part.
Yeah, and so I want to rewind back to the San Francisco 49ers era of Jim Harbaugh. So Jim Harbaugh came in and Mike Singletary replaced Mike Singletary. Mike Singletary was just not a good coach. However, they did have talent. They had a lot of talent. They had Mike Iupati, Anthony Davis. That was because of Scott McCloughan. Scott McCloughan had some substance abuse issues, had a lot of things going on. He ended up going to Washington, made a few good picks there, but to be honest, hire him now. That guy can draft. Vegas, whatever. He might spiral, but whatever. He's
a consultant. That's what he does now. He's a scouting consultant.
That guy knows what he's doing. If you look at the Niners draft classes from 2005 to 2009 under Mike Singletary, they were balling. Michael Crabtree, Mike Iupati, Anthony Davis, all these guys. They had some good players on the team, and they, Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, all these guys were really good. That's what Jim Harbaugh inherited. When Jim Harbaugh was the head coach of the 49ers, they drafted A.J. Jenkins in the first round with Trent Baalke. That's what I'm scared of, is that Trent Baalke will be the GM of the Las Vegas Raiders. I know he's with the Jaguars right now, but he might come over. Somebody of that tree. Trent Baalke is terrible at drafting. Like he is awful. Like the Jaguars should even be a lot better than they are personnel wise. That's the Trayvon Walker over Hutchinson. There's a weird thing that happens with Trent Baalke there. So when Harbaugh was there, what he did is he took the roster that was there, that was actually really good, and motivated guys to be better.
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
They didn't add a lot of talent. Now, they did the Kaepernick thing where that was lightning in a bottle. Absolutely. They did that. They got ahead of the Raiders. I know Davis wanted them and everything. They got ahead of the Raiders, and that was kind of something that injected lightning in there. But they were, they didn't really add a lot of talent while Harbaugh was there. And I'm like, who's your GM? Is it you? Like, now that you're a college coach, do you want to be the GM too? And I feel like Mark would hand the reins over, which scares me. I feel like Mark wants to hand this team over to somebody, whereas I want a chain of command. And I don't think that happens with Jim Harbaugh.
No, that's the problem. It's like I said, even if he has a good offense, or that type of thing, or he has a good offense and it starts to go wrong, he's gonna take over. That's my thing.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just don't. I just get bad vibes from it. It's not. I know it's not a real analysis. I just get bad vibes from Harbaugh's second stint in the NFL.
Yeah, and the Vikings didn't hire him.
That's your thing. That you brought that up to me, I think, on our Alpha Beta thing this year.
Every time I think about it, I was like,
yeah,
he should be the Vikings head coach.
They got lucky. And he's not. With O'Connell. They got lucky with O'Connell. That guy's a stud, man.
He was their main choice. He was in the building, guys. He was in the building.
Yeah.
He was in the damn. They literally interviewed him, and then everybody they thought he was about to sign the paper. It's like the best article to read is his interview, because everybody was excited. They thought he was about to sign the paper, and then when it got to planning it, and so, especially the new GM is super analytical. So he's like, "So what's your plan?" He probably like, "So what do you think about fourth down?" He's just like, "What do you mean? I'm Jim Harbaugh." You know what I mean? It's just.
And he was a Stanford guy. Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah is a Stanford guy, so he's like, "Yeah, cool. Let's bring in my boy."
Ed was with him in San Francisco.
Yeah. And then
said no.
And that's why Harbaugh thought he had
it. He's like, you know what? Let's go Kevin O'Connell and look at him. See?
I want Pierce because he's hungry. I want Frank Smith because he's hungry. I want a hungry guy to come in here and make the Raiders nasty and fun again. You know what I mean? Pierce has done a little bit of that. And I could see Frank Smith doing that, but that's I understand why that's an unknown. Harbaugh, I'm like, man, I know Pete Carroll had a really nice second stint in the NFL after college. That's like one guy. Is Harbaugh Pete Carroll? Perhaps. If anybody is, it's true. I'm not gambling on that if I'm Mark Davis.
Oh, man. Yeah, because because the interesting thing about the Harbaugh rumors is, I mean, they're around last time, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't interview him.
Bro, I had people emailing me. They say, "Hey, you want a scoop? Harbaugh's already going to sign." I was like, really?
You didn't interview him at all. So that's the thing about the Harbaugh. Is Mark Davis really want Jim Harbaugh? Do we really know that?
I hope not. I hope he's going. I hope he's doing what we're talking about. It does. I still think Pierce is going to get the job. I do. I think they're going to beat Denver tomorrow. They're going to go 4-2 in the division, and it's going to be like, all right, bro. We just need a little bit more talent. Champ's going to get us some more talent. I want Kelly and Pierce. I can just rest easy in the offseason. I know the tenacity and the mentality this team's going to have. Frank Smith would be the kind of jolt of that nitro cold brew that I drink, all right, let's go, bring in a Fangio type, defensive coordinator, hey, Brandon Staley, defensive coordinator. I wouldn't hate it,
Me
but
neither.
no, but for me, it's Pierce. I think they keep Graham. I think they, that's why this Harbaugh thing. I feel like that shakes up the whole team. I don't think this team needs to be uprooted. That's the thing. I have in the past with past hirings, especially after Gruden and Mayock's draft classes. I was like, no, we need to uproot this whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's the case right now. There's just a few moves that need to be made and a solid chain of command with a few upgrades here on the staff. And I think we're dancing, I think we're contending in the AFC West.
I agree with you. Because that's the thing. I mean, even with some of the things I have with AP, I think it would be better to kind of go forward, especially if they want to move. And the Marvin Lewis article, Marvin Lewis still being there and the defense getting really better. I feel like that's something there. And if they moved on for Patrick Graham and then put Marvin Lewis in that role, I mean, I think that would be fantastic. Even if the OC he picks, I don't like. I would love Marvin Lewis as a DC. The more I think about it, so
no, I wouldn't hate it at all. I'd prefer to keep Graham just because he's there. It's I think Max could continue to grow in that system. I think there's guys that already have succeeded there, and I think maybe just strengthening up, just adding just talent anywhere on that defense, just a few more guys. Like I feel like we could really have a sustainable top 10 defense rather than the top 10 defense that flashes at times. That's why I would prefer to keep that. But Marvin Lewis is a proven defensive coordinator, a proven guy that maybe has taken jobs that are just a bit. I mean, he was a better head coach than he even gets credit for. But yeah, I prefer to keep the continuity going and then upgrading at offensive coordinator. So we'll see.
Yeah, because Marvin Lewis has been cooking. He's pissed that nobody gives him a job. He's in there cooking. He's in the lab.
Yeah, and I don't want an old guy like that to come in and be like, we're Tampa 2 or whatever he play. We're doing this. I don't know what he plays, but I'm not going to pretend to know. I just hope it's not like we're dusting off the 2006 Cincinnati Bengals defense. That's what I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But yeah, Jim Harbaugh's just I kind of would be like I'd feel a little dread, honestly.
Yeah, it was funny. I think it was on the radio. The guy, Vinny, asked me about them simplifying the defense, and I was gonna tell him like, "Hey, man, they're running cover 7 against the Chiefs. I mean, I had to go into like these Coach Voss and all these guys' playbooks to see what they were doing because they were doing all these man match coverages, all this cover 7, a lot of stuff that they were never doing. It was like I was watching Vic Fangio run defense, and I was thinking, man, that's really interesting with Patrick Graham. And I was like, yeah, that's probably Marvin. Damn, Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably Marvin. God, that makes so much sense in my head now. It was like an epiphany. All right, let's just get through these other guys real quick, and then we'll get to some of the others' lines. There's one dude he does not like Pierce, man. He's not a fan. Pierce
no, he doesn't. There's a lot of people that are anti-Pierce. I understand the argument. I just think it's like, dude, this is the guy's first chance. Like the first chance, that was a job that he didn't expect to get, and I think it's been pretty good. Like you give him an off season, kind of just where he knows he's the guy. I think it's better. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Just I understand. He's not like I'm not getting a tattoo of the guy. Like I understand. I understand the apprehension.
Yeah, he wants to kick in the door and wave in the 4-4, but Antonio Pierce looks like so. His big picture. All right, we got Raheem Morris, Eric Bieniemy, Dan Quinn, the last one.
Vrabel. He is not getting fired. I mean, if he does, then yeah, that might be number 1.
It would be number 1 for me.
Yeah, no. If he does, if he gets fired, but Vegas doesn't know because plus 1,800, that doesn't mean they're confident he's getting fired. So, and nor should he. I know they changed up GM, but over in Tennessee, but yeah, Raheem Morris. I think a lot of people probably are just like scoffing at this name. Does he bring a McVay disciple for offensive coordinator from the Rams? Then I'm interested. I don't love Raheem Morris. His Tampa stuff was kind of uninspiring, but his defenses, he's done a pretty good job this year with the Rams defense for not having a lot of name brand talent. So I'll give him that. I think Les Snead has done a phenomenal job, and it'd be really cool if like he found a way to like get Les Snead out of there. I have no idea how that would happen, but I think Les Snead's done a really good job. But Rams play he plays a lot of off coverage, which really annoys my dad, who's a hardcore Rams fan, as hardcore as I am as a Raider fan. He's just like, we had Jalen Ramsey, and now Jalen Ramsey looks amazing with Miami because he presses up on people, but they wouldn't do that with the Rams. And but if he brings in that like McVay, whoever the next McVay guy is, who they all seem to succeed. So whoever that is, if that's the offensive coordinator, I could be talked into that. Quinn Bieniemy, I think he's just going to get the Washington job personally. So I'd be agnostic on that. Quinn, I like him. He probably brings Kellen Moore with him. I think if Moore isn't getting a head coach job, Vrabel obviously great, and then whatever the field is, yeah. So no, hand it over to you, Marcus.
Okay. The field is the interesting one because I still think it's going to be somebody because we did not think it was Josh McDaniels at this point.
No, we didn't.
At this point in time, last time, I mean, it was looking like it might be Rich Bisaccia because they went to the playoffs, right? At least, and they almost won that playoff game, and the ball didn't bounce off of Hendrickson's helmet, and if Deshaun Jackson could catch, the Raiders win that game.
Yep.
So, that's the interesting part of this. It could be just some random guy. Zach Robinson, QB coach and passing. Yeah, see that's the type of guy, Zach Robinson. Yeah,
could be
quarterbacks. The thing is, there's two quarterbacks that are offensive coordinators.
Could be Bobby Slowick from the Houston Texans. Could be him.
It could be.
Nobody's talking about him. Nobody's talking about him right now. He's not on this list, but it could be Bobby Slowick. How could you even be sad about that? The guy's taking a rookie quarterback, a place where we thought there no wide receivers were, and they score points when CJ Stroud's on the field.
All right. So it's just interesting for the COVID year. Antonio Pierce was the defensive coordinator for ASU. So was Marvin Lewis. I'm just saying. I don't know, man. They're over here. Marvin Lewis has been our DC since. That's why Patrick Graham was That's why Patrick Graham was all upset. That's the thing. They stripped his job.
Yeah, that was a weird thing that he said. That kind of like, proud of my guys. Hope for the best. See you guys. Here's my new address. Right back soon, guy. I don't know. He didn't say that, but it was just like, hey, Pat, what did they tell you?
You know, the defensive coordinator for the.
What if Patrick Graham's the next head coach? What if it's just Patrick Graham this whole time?
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't think so. But I'm just saying, it's just, you're right. There is the wild card. I don't know who the wild card is, but what if there's got to be one?
I mean, I actually did play pretty good defense back then. They played pretty decent defense. There's some good defensive players, but yeah. See, because I just had this whole thought process that AP took over the defense, and it wasn't Patrick Graham, and I even threw that at BD one time. I told BD, I really feel like this is not Patrick Graham at all. Patrick Graham has no calling in any of this. This defense, I really feel like they're like, hey, get out the room. And they were like doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Kind of tell, especially when they win NASCAR against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And you got to think about it too. Patrick Graham doesn't do specialty pass rushers.
No, he doesn't.
So when Malcolm Kuhn started going off, who do you think was pushing for Malcolm Kuhn to play? It's probably Lewis. It's probably Pierce. Because they're like, do you see that bend, Patrick? I don't care if you can't play the run. Do you see the bend?
Yeah. No, you might be right. It might be somebody just say, hey, I watched your guys' film. Here's what I saw. Here's what needs to happen. And Pierce was like, I'm head coach. I can make this happen.
Exactly. That's 100% what I think happened.
Yeah, no, I to be honest, I like this. I like this thing. Are they bypassing Patrick Graham? Because I to be honest, I liked Patrick Graham even last year. That there were things I liked about him. And people were like, oh, fire him. But you might be right. They might have bypassed him a little bit. But I thought this year they played solid defense, a little bit better than the some of their parts all year. So even when McDaniels was here, I thought they played okay defense.
All right. Let's get to some of these. The actual game line. I mean, people might actually bet on the game this week, right?
Sickos.
Right? Yeah, you know. So Broncos at Raiders. Raiders are favored here, -3 to win this game. The point total is 37. I think it's gonna be over that. I
I
really
think
feel
so
like
too.
it is.
Yeah.
It's gonna be over that. So I think Stidham's gonna feel the pressure. He's gonna
Yeah.
make some mistakes, which I thought last week, but Gardner Minshew played like a little wimp on film. He was a little wimpy wimp. He just check it down, check it down. He just was getting rid of the ball. He didn't throw the ball more than 5 yards, I don't believe. I swear he did. And if he did, he was rolling out. He had a touchdown on one of them, and the other one is when he rolled out. It happened all in the first half, where the two throws downfield.
Yeah.
He had, um, he had Alex Pierce so open on one
I
play.
saw. Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Like,
Matt
and
Ryan
he was
was tripping. Matt Ryan was tripping.
because he was like staring at the check down too. It was like he was like hitched at the check down like
Yeah. Yeah.
8 times. I'm not gonna put it up because I got flagged for putting that video up. So I guess this wasn't supposed to be shown. Gardner Minshew was mad that
Yeah.
I put him on Front Street, I guess, and he made a call to the NFL and flagged the channel.
Who
So
knew? Who knew he ran the NFL? Who
I
knew?
know who knew that he was doing those type of things, but yeah, I'm taking the over. I'm on this one for sure. I'm taking the Raiders too.
Yeah.
I
We're winning.
am. This is all I want. Beat the Chargers. Beat the Broncos. We're cool. That's
Beat
always
the
how
Chiefs at Arrowhead once.
I mean, right? And that's actually they gave me more.
That's
You
what
know,
I'm saying. How do you not hire Antonio Pierce? If they win this game, now if they look like trash this game, I start thinking about Antonio Pierce. I hate going game by game. I see a lot of people are like, "What? You're with him this week?" Yeah, he's a new coach. That's why it's gonna. If it looks awful this week, if they just cannot move the ball at all, if they're not stopping anybody, if Jaron Stidham puts up, 27 points on him, yeah, I'm a little wary of Pierce. But I think Pierce gets up for the division games, which is another reason I like him. I think he's an old school Raider fan that's like, this is a division game. This game means something. I'm going to show you these AFL highlights. I'm going to show you these 1983 highlights. I'm going to show you all these things. And I think he's going to have the guys up. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win handily. I think it's going to be a fun send off for the season. They're going to be 8-9 this year, which I think I predicted was they're going to be the record. And I think they're going to, which is weird because I don't feel fulfilled, but I think that's what I picked. And despite the route getting there, but I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win, and it's at home. I think at Denver. They already beat them at Denver first week of the season. Keep the streak alive, man. We gotta troll these Bronco fans. We gotta have that at least going into
have something, right? You got to have something. That's my two things. Beat the Chargers, beat the Broncos. The Chiefs was just a little added extra spice for me on Christmas. It was a great Christmas.
That was
present.
beautiful, and we, that's what I mean. It's like it's actually an okay season if that happens. This is a season that we thought we were all uninspired watching McDaniels, and then we got a little kind of injection of hope. Some up and down, some volatility, of course, but we started a fourth round rookie. We started a fourth round rookie and a linebacker coach at head coach, and ended up going 8-9. Build on.
Yeah, my favorite thing about this game is how Vegas said, "Fuck this game. We're not even betting on it," which I thought was hilarious because there's no odds. They're like Vegas is like, "Fuck this game."
Yeah, especially when Jacobs is out, they're like, we have nothing.
No, whatever. Nobody's gonna bet on this game.
They're not even throwing. Adams is getting locked up by second round corners.
Yeah, I mean,
things like that.
Devontae is gonna be if the Raiders keep Devontae, he is a 100 catch, 1,200 yard guy.
He still had a good year. That's a crazy thing. He still had a good year. All the complaints,
no matter what,
he still had a good year. I understand if they keep him. I understand if they trade him. That's my two things. I get both sides of it.
Before we get to the other games, when we talk about players, Josh Jacobs is a big one. Now they're saying he's going to hit free agency, which I think he should. But to me, if he hits free agency, the team that needs a running back really, really bad is a team that he would just join because he's pissed that we didn't sign him. And that's what I'm always worried about with Josh Jacobs. Just like franchise tag him, trade him to the NFC. That's what makes me feel a lot better than letting him go to the Chiefs. I just don't, because that's who he's going to sign with. The Chiefs are going to sign him. I would tell you that they're going to do it because that's what the Chiefs are missing right now.
They might
is a run game. If they can run the ball, it would help Mahomes a lot because he's got nobody to throw to. And Pacheco.
What's he signing for? What's he signing for with the Chiefs? I mean, he's going to take what? He's going to take a 1 year, $7 million deal. I don't think so.
But He might to play with the Mahomes in the championship.
Because at that point, like, what, I don't know. You're doing that. Look, you might. I don't. I think Josh wants a big payday. I think he's going to take a damn Carolina Panthers contract. Is what I think he's going to do. I think he's the type of guy. I'm not hating on him as a person, but I think he wants the big payday. And I think he's going to take either the Carolina Panthers big payday. I think he's going to take the Minnesota Vikings big payday. One of those teams I think is going to pay him. Not even saying that's going to be a bad move on his part. I think he's a good running back. I think it's weird. I'm not saying Zamir White is better. However, I look at these certain things where it's like they do this thing when you see number 8 on the field. It's like we need to run the offense through him, and it kind of halts everything else. Whereas when you have number 35 out there, I know pass protection is a little bit different. You have another guy that's not necessarily the guy. I feel like if I could clone Zamir White 3 times and pay what I'm paying Zamir White, I'm good. I don't need him. I just haven't felt the need for Josh Jacobs in a long time. I just haven't. It's not a hatred to him. It's not. I'm not hating on him. It's nothing against him. But I don't. When he goes somewhere else, I think he's going to go to Buffalo. Is what I think is going to happen, which is fine. Go to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Go to Buffalo. Go play with James Cook. You and James Cook running team. Sure.
See why I think he's going to end up on a team like the Chiefs is because I think he's going to hit the market and realize that nobody wants him to pay him the money that he wants. Because one, he betted on himself and he let Josh McDaniels pass the 340 carries mark, and he had exactly what I talked about this on the show before the season started. I wrote an article about it. It's on SB Nation about how he's going to fall off. And he got injured. He missed a bunch of games. He missed 5 games. The average of a guy over 340 carries, 340 touches. You miss 5 games the next year, you drop like a whole yard in yards per carry, and he did all of that. And he is at the wrong time. Jonathan Taylor was able to rebuild himself because he had a couple of more years to get over it, but he might have a big year with somebody next year.
You know where I want to see him go?
Yeah,
Dallas. They're missing that thunder back that they didn't have. I could see Dallas throwing some money at him. And I'd love it. I'd love to see him there. I'd root for him there. I'd feel good about it behind a pretty good offensive line. Pollard has fumbled the bag a bit as a every down back. But if you have Jacobs and Pollard, damn. Like, you know what I mean? I could see Jerry getting real excited about that. I don't want to be the guy that pays the 3 to 4 year deal for a guy who's already high mileage. He's been the guy for a long time. If he has one huge running back season away from the Raiders, fine. Now, if he has like 3 or 4 more, then we missed on that. But I think it's good process to be like, look, we got 5-6 years out of this guy, and you let him go. It's okay.
I don't know. I feel like him, Dalvin Cook, Austin Eckler, and I don't know who else complained this year. I feel like they ruined the running back market even worse because we all complained the whole offseason. The biggest voices in them dudes all were ass this year.
No, it's bad.
And Josh Jacobs had some good game. I'm not gonna say he's ass. He was whatever. But Austin Eckler, he was not very good.
No.
Dalvin Cook, bad. He's on the practice squad.
Taylor was fine, but not otherworldly. No, I agreed.
It ruined the whole market.
The market might collapse a little bit, and the Raiders might go, do you want the franchise tag? I don't necessarily want to do that because that's still $12 million, $13 million. I don't necessarily want to do that, but if they do it, I'm not hurt. I'm just not.
1 year 6, man. 1 year for 6.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, are you getting more than 6, Josh?
Coach AP loves you. You know what I'm saying? Like you and Zamir again. Do you want to do this? Maybe Zamir a little bit more. We might save your legs a little bit. You hit free agency in a year. We talk again. I have no problem with that. I don't want Josh Jacobs gone. I don't. If I see 3 years anything, I'm scared with him. That's all it is.
Yeah. You know what I mean? 1 year for 6, Josh. Are you going to get more than 8? That's Dalvin. Didn't Dalvin Cook get 8? 1 year, $8 million in the Jets?
Just let him sit there. Hey, bro. Hey, you got your spot. We got this deal for you. You will not go hungry this year, sir.
Yeah.
Because you got a lot of kids, apparently, according to that one site that always print. But that once online, when you see those random Josh Jacobs headlines, like OnlyFans model this, and this, like they had 12 kids with her, and you're like, okay. But all I'm saying is we got 1 year, $7 million for you. So I'll even go 7 higher than you. I'll go $7 million. That's my cap. It's my cap.
Highest I'm going 6.5.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 guaranteed. I'll give you 5 mil on off top. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Guaranteed. No clot. No, guaranteed.
I can't go 7. He's got to re-earn that.
You penny pinching on Josh?
Yeah,
I thought I was the penny pincher. Yeah.
I mean, just look at the market, man. I mean,
No,
all
I
played.
just
I mean, none of them were ballers. I mean,
I've seen Zamir White not replicate him. I've seen him do some nice things for a fraction of the cost. So if I get 2 or 3 more Zamir Whites, I don't need Josh Jacobs for $7 million. That's all I'm telling fans. Will never replace him. But guess what? He had the league's leading rushing last year on a 6-11 team. So if that's what you want, fine. I prefer to be a good team though.
All right, so let's get some of these questions here. I'll try to see if I miss any later on here. So, do we got to blow it up though if we don't hire Pierce, since the entire locker room seems to want him back?
I fear that. I do fear that that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to make too many changes if it's not Pierce. And I think there's talent here, and I think a competent GM. To be honest, I even think Ziegler did a better job in the draft than people give him credit for, but he's not here anymore. But if they can just keep adding talent in April to this team, and Pierce is there to just establish the Raider culture, because it looks like that's what he actually cares about doing. Yeah. That's why I wanted to stay Pierce, stay continuity.
Yeah. Would you trade Kuntz plus pick to the Cardinals for the I'm not trading Kuntz, but I mean, I'd be upset about this.
Who's the franchise quarterback?
I don't know. I mean, who would it be?
Is it Jaden Daniels? Because I've seen quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3. So am I trading up for Michael Penix? I saw you posting.
You got to say Penix. It's Penix.
Penix.
It's
Nah,
Penix.
hell no. Let that Penix swing. You're coming to Vegas.
They used to say that, right? That used to be his name.
Yeah.
I swear it was.
I would lean into it.
I was like, I'm not crazy. That used to be his name.
I'd go phallic all day, dude. Like I would. No. Penix is not a winning name. Penix, letting it swing. We're in Vegas. It's 3 inches off the floor. Come on, guys. No.
These guys need to stop getting older and then changing their name.
Yeah, Goodell would be like Michael Penix. I would say it loud at the draft. Come on, man.
But see, okay, so this is a question to look at, because this is all based on what the Bears do, right? Do the Bears keep Justin Fields?
Yeah.
Which this whole Justin Fields conversation is hilarious to me, because it's really based on quarterbacks get paid too much, and we don't want to say that. Because why the hell are they going to move on from Justin Fields? Or even think about it?
It's all contract. Yeah.
It's all about, do we don't want to pay him $50 million? Do we want to pay you $50 million though? You're good. You're a top 20 guy. Probably some people put you top 15. Some crazy fan on TikTok or something might put you top 10 because they're crazy. But you're a popular quarterback. There's no reason for them to move on from Justin Fields besides not wanting to pay him. That's the only reason. I mean, is there any other? I mean, do you think of one? Because I mean, he's getting better, right? I mean, they're winning now. Why would you move on from a young 6'4", 230 pounds, runs a 4.3 with the cannon? Who are you drafting that is a better prospect than that?
No, and you still have this year plus the 5th-year option year on him. Now you might have to pay him, but whatever extension you give him. Now the idea is, do I have 4 years, 5 years beyond his rookie contract of this play? It's a fair question, right? Guys get hurt. It does happen. Now, I will say, I take the chance. I take the chance on that stuff. Like I would take the chance on Fields. I think you could get 3 to 4 top 8 seasons out of Justin Fields in the right system, with a guy like Devontae Adams, with a guy like that could sit down in a zone and when Fields buys some time. I do it for sure. I do it. I got a 2nd round pick. The problem is the Bears. What is that number? The dumbest thing the Bears could do is pick a non-quarterback at 1. I think, in my opinion. I don't care who it is, even if it's Marvin Harrison. The dumbest thing they can do is sit at 1 and pick a non-quarterback. What you need to do, if they trade down and get a couple first-round picks out of that and keep Fields, I completely understand what they're doing.
Okay.
But if they just stay at 1 and pick Marvin Harrison, I'm like, you guys didn't use the picks that you guys had a chance, because whatever you're going to do, you're going to drop down 3 to 4 spots. You could still get a Neighbors, a Coleman, and Joe Alt. There's a lot of things you can do with that defense, and defense and offense. If they're going to trade him, they're either going to trade him, they're either going to fall in love with May or Williams, or they're going to trade down, and that's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, you can make some good points there, man. All right, so how about Frank Reich for OC? I don't know what connection they would have, but
what has he done? What has Frank Reich done that you think?
I mean, he was a good OC with the Eagles.
With
Doug Peterson.
Yeah, okay. 2017. All right,
2017. Fair. I mean, see, the thing is, like Brandon Staley too, right? People were like, "Oh, he's not a good DC now." I don't agree with that. That was somebody I would look at, because you got to think about Jim Schwartz, Steve Spagnuolo.
Yeah,
all those guys were very bad coaches. Brian Flores,
and
when they got the DC job again, they were great defensive minds again. So I still think Brandon Staley is somebody that somebody's going to hire, and we're going to be like, "Oh, Brandon Staley sucks," and then he's going to, "Oh, he's a mastermind," like, and all the nerds are going to be back on his case. See, I told you. Look at the cover 7 he runs. So
cool.
Yeah, anyways. But I think this question, thoughts on Bilal Nichols winning Nickelodeon's Value Player. I didn't even know that happened. So.
Yeah, I got a replica trophy back there. It was a big deal for me and my family.
Who was the OC at Arizona State with Herm? I looked this up. It was Zach Hill. Man.
It's not a name I wanted a name I recognized. And I think the Mr. STD thought the same. He was like, "Oh, that guy, bring him in." But Zach Hill, yeah, I don't know.
Yes, Jay Gruden was the Bengals OC too. Yes, he was.
I like Jay Gruden. Dude,
look what he did with Dalton.
Bro, we still have Deuce, and guys don't get hurt as much. People aren't giving Deuce Gruden credit.
I mean, Cousins threw like 5,000 yards like 3 times almost.
Yeah. I'm down to bring some Grudens back. I am okay with that.
Jay can cook, bro. Don't sleep on Jay as a play call.
Dude,
he didn't like Cousins.
Deuce has our soft tissue injuries solved. He does. Guys are not all around the league. You see hamstrings, quads, all these things. The Raiders have been pretty good injury wise all year, besides Jacobs, which we knew that was coming.
Yeah, that's probably what the Gruden rules really are about. It's the wrong Jay Gruden. It's Jay Gruden.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm saying. To be honest, this would not bother me.
No.
Because if you go look at Kirk Cousins' numbers with the Commanders, he literally threw like 4,800 yards. Like,
so go
twice.
Get him. What you're saying is go get Kirk. 3 years, $43 million a year. Kirk Cousins. I don't hate it. People hate it. People hate Kirk Cousins because they only watch primetime games.
No, it's like it's the mid thing. He's a mid.
He's not mid.
He's a mid quarterback.
He literally is not mid. It's because he's not cool. First of all, people want cool. He grills steaks. He grills steaks with tinfoil on them and stuff, and he dresses like a dork, and he's not swagged out or anything. I get that. He's good. Kirk Cousins is good. If you only watch primetime games, he has a weird thing in primetime games. If you watch a random 10 a.m. West Coast Vikings game, he's cooking.
See, the thing with Kirk Cousins is he is what I call a bonehead quarterback.
He does,
and that's basically what Derek Carr is too. They're boneheads. They just do something just ridiculously stupid. Like, why would you do that? He's that type of guy. So that's why a lot of fans get frustrated with him, because he's a bonehead.
But he can feed a number one. He can feed a number one. I don't know. I'm in with that. If they want to use, Raiders will probably have a top 15, top 17 pick. If they want to use that on best player available and you go sign Kirk Cousins, depending on the coordinator, I feel okay about that. I think a lot of fans will be really mad, like calling the Crips mad, like being really mad about that and blocking people over it. But I won't be.
Yeah, man.
I want to draft a guy. That's my number one thing. I want to draft a guy. I'm not saying that. I just mean Kirk's not my number one, but if that happened, I'm not as mad as everybody else.
There's Russell Wilson too, man. I tell you, Sierra, dog.
That I'm mad about. I'm not doing
Getting that residency, man. You know what I mean?
I know. Kicking Usher out. Come on. Katy Perry, she's gone too.
Yeah, man. Sierra, bro. I'm telling you, I don't know. All right. Why isn't Frank Smith getting a look if he worked for John Gruden at LV?
He'll get a look.
He'll get a look for sure.
He'll get a look. I think he'll get an interview.
Somebody asked another question on Frank Smith. Was he from the Niners coaching tree? Kind of.
He's been everywhere, man.
He's under like the West Coast offense coaching tree for Sean Payton, assistant offensive line coach, tight ends coach with John Gruden, who mentored Sean Payton. And then he went to the Chargers with Joe Lombardi, who was mentored by Sean Payton, who was mentored by John Gruden. And now he's in Miami with Mike McDaniel, who was mentored by Kyle Shanahan, who was mentored by John Gruden,
right?
Who was mentored by Sean McVay. So yes, yes.
He's a lint roller. He just gets everything that he runs. One of those lint roller coaches. Whatever comes up, everywhere I've been, I roll around everywhere, all over the house. Whatever's on the floor, I pick up. I like that.
See that Gruden doesn't get enough credit, man. They give it all to Mike Shanahan. It's not Mike Shanahan, bro. It's John.
No, he's the grandpappy
of modern NFL offense. He is.
Yeah,
he doesn't get the credit for it because he's just, I don't know.
They got a statue of him. You know,
they gave it to Mike because Kyle Shanahan worked for Sean McVay, everybody's favorite play caller worked for Gruden.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, I'm watching, and nobody made me miss Gruden more than Josh McDaniels offense.
Me too. I was done with him, and I said, man, Gruden was cooking here. Yeah.
Brian Callahan is an interesting one.
I don't know much about him.
I mean, see, he's not the play caller in Cincinnati, though, right? So he is the OC. So he probably is the game plans. Well, we don't know how he is as a play caller. The play caller is Zach Taylor, right? We don't know.
But Frank Smith would be the same thing, right?
Yeah. You couldn't make that case.
Frank Smith, the reason that it shot up was that poll where it was like he's the number one coordinator in the league on a place where he doesn't call plays. So I'm like, okay, he's doing something there.
Is he bringing his dad to coach the O-line? That'll be my first question.
Bring back Bill.
So is your dad coming to coach the O-line? Because
how's Dad's health?
Yeah, how's he doing? Doing good?
Is he all right? Can he handle a little stress? How's Dad's heart doing? Yeah, is he good?
That'll be if you could bring Bill with you,
Yeah, hell yeah. I know Bill back to Vegas would be electric. People wouldn't like it. People would get mad. OGs would get mad, but nah.
You know what I mean? Because I know Bill would kick Andre James out of there real quick.
Oh, what? The center getting moved around like that? What? No, we're done. That's not happening. Yeah.
Didn't Mark say to Deshaun that he wants to hire GM this time? I mean, they should do that, right? They should do that.
They need a GM command. Yeah.
I agree with this. This is I like this. Callahan equals T. Higgins. That is a true thing.
Man.
Now you got me on the Brian because this is what I've been wanting T. Higgins for years. So now you got me on the Brian Callahan train here.
I like T. Higgins. Trade Devontae. What do you say? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean,
what do you think? Trade Devontae, swap him out for a younger player. What do you think?
See, my thing with Devontae, because when I don't think he's the same guy, right? I think he's human. Vinny was trying to say that he's injured, he's a little banged up, which is probably true. But my point is kind of with this and why I feel like that you still can use him really well. You just watch him play in the slot, bro. He's a slot receiver. He'd be the best slot receiver in your team. He'd be the best slot receiver in the league, and he could still catch 100 balls. So that factors there. It's just he's not going to be like he was in 2022, which is unreal. The dude.
That's why.
He was trying to prove that he didn't need Aaron.
Yeah, that would be nice. It's why it'd be nice to bring a guy from that McVay coaching tree who's like, hey, I had Cooper Kupp. I just moved him in the slot. Like that person that will just check their ego and I'll put him in the slot. Free release all day. No, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, so just mix it up and just don't let, when Snead double teams them, you got to just throw to somebody else. Get an OC who's smart enough to do that too. All right. Harbaugh's like Pete Carroll. Who was the OC with AP College? I kind of got that one.
Zach Hill.
You're talking about Zach Robinson.
He used to work there, didn't he? Isn't that why PFF pumps him up? Now, they were right about Bobby Slowick. They were right.
Well, Bobby Slowick comes from them too.
Oh, does he? He's a bit PFF Bobby Slowick. They were pimping him so hard during at the beginning of the year. So I'm like, my problem is I can't stand that that's like the thing now. So but hey, I don't want to miss the train. So if that's the case.
Well, so they're getting like these guys who are in coaching stuff, and they're basically kind of
probably quality control guy or whatever. I don't know, any of these guys that were grad assistants somewhere in a college, and then they go work for PFF a little bit. But yeah, Bobby Slowick was a PFF guy, so yeah, I know. Look, Zach Robinson. I've been hearing that name for a while. Like I said, my dad's a Rams fan, so I know he was a part of that staff. I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I mean.
See, he is still coaching. I thought.
Yeah, but can you pass up the time to work with your little boy again?
Your son. Are you gonna help out your son?
Yeah, you can't pass that up.
He's getting his first head coaching job. Don't you want to help mentor him?
You get the call like, who was the guy for the Cowboys that drafted his little son as the running back or whatever? Yeah. Like Deuce Vaughn or something. It's like, hey dad, do you want to come coach? I just got the job. And then they start crying. Come on, Bill come back if it's Brian.
See T Higgins. These two things, I'm on the Brian Callahan train a little bit now. We got T Higgins.
You've come to a lot of revelations on this episode here, Marcus.
I have, man. Yeah. Brian Callahan might be somebody I'm pushing for. T Higgins, right?
And not Adam Gase with Antonio Pierce. So
and Bill Callahan.
Yeah.
So yeah, my bad. I got a little loud there. But
the wheels are turning.
Bill Callahan coming, bro. Look at the Browns, bro.
Yeah. With all the injuries, they lost both tackles.
Oh man.
And Joe Flacco. Yeah, they have Joe Flacco playing ball. Yeah, no, I agree.
Any questions that I missed here? Anything? You seen anything?
We just got to talk about that. Yeah, we just got to talk about the championship game real fast right at the end. But yeah.
All right, draft a QB and sign a vet like Tyrod Taylor or Huntley from Baltimore.
Just keep Aiden at that point and draft a quarterback. Keep Aiden, draft someone behind him. Aiden, you don't have the job. Sorry, I hate to break it to you. Your 4th round pick out of Purdue. Go win the job.
Yeah, 100%.
That's how I feel. If you're gonna, I don't want any of these like retread veterans that aren't starters, right? Like Huntley and Taylor that aren't cemented starters. To me, I keep what's already there and draft behind him. A high pick. And then say like, go win the job. Then go win the job, and we'll sit this guy here. You know what I mean? Like if the team likes you, the team thinks you're cool. They love your little mustache. Like whatever.
O'Connell is not terrible either.
No, he's not. He's really not. When I watch the game, I get really mad, and then like 3 days later, I'm like, nah, he wasn't that bad.
You just can't move. That's the thing that bothers me. Like, it's like when they had the league play, it was wide open, and it just so he could move a little bit.
Yeah. And then you watch like a guy like JJ McCarthy. I'm not high on, but like he just moves and gets like 7 yards, and you're like, damn.
Like he literally just could have moved away from that guy and threw it on the run to Jacoby Myers and touchdown Raiders on their first drive.
Right. Exactly. It has to be perfect. That's the problem. It has to be perfect for him.
I've never seen a quarterback that unathletic.
No, I'm telling you right now, I am faster. I will challenge him. No, seriously, like he wants to get mad. I will challenge him to a straight line speed race. I am faster. I've run a couple marathons in my life, so I'm not like slow. I can outrun him. Like, and you have to be Brady good. If you're that, like, you got to become that guy. Or I'm going to keep constantly testing you and drafting guys behind you. He's going to shave the mustache and get mad that we drafted somebody or something. Like, let him do that. Let him get
mad. He's going to go to an athletic trainer, get faster, get more agile.
Yeah. Go see somebody in Germany. Go to like Germany. Stem cells.
I saw this question in the thing. That was a good question. So what? All right, so we got who has Champ worked with in the past? Any head coach or OC candidates? I looked this up. It was nobody that I really wanted to look at. I mean, there's Mark Helfrich, who used to be the Oregon coach, I believe. He was the OC with Matt Nagy. So that was a guy. Of course, there's Matt Nagy too, which I hope they don't hire because
No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
don't
Thank
even
you.
think about that. There's a couple DCs though I like that were over with the Bears. Sean Desai was over there. Brandon Staley is a he was there with Champ.
I don't hate Brandon Staley at all as DC.
Right. That is one. Just don't hire him as head coach. He's too positive.
No.
Way too positive.
No. You let him like guys eat when he has his Aaron Donald, which is Max, right? He would have his guy to move around to play around with. I think Tyree's still a very young athletic guy. Kuntz, there would be a lot of fun things for him to work with.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's get to college football, right?
Yeah.
Washington at Michigan. All right, Michigan's favored, 4.5 point total, 56. This game is gonna be very interesting to me because I think Washington is just loaded. And when we doing the Michael Penix breakdown, I did one with Matt, and we're gonna kind of post it for the members probably after this, but I think he's loaded. I guess they got a bunch of offensive linemen going to the NFL too, and they got the 2 wide receivers going to the NFL. One's a first rounder.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not very good on defense though. But on the other side, I mean, Michigan's going to try to play game control football. They're not playing Alabama this week, who wants to play, ball control football. And I think the matchup is just a little bit faster for them. I think it's going to be a little too fast, to be honest. I think, they're going to have to try to get out to the quarterback and try to get, Penix off his game. But I think the wide receivers outside are going to be too much, to be honest. And I think Washington's going to win this game.
I'm on Washington, especially with that spread. I saw Dave Portnoy trying to knock it down to by saying Dave Portnoy is a Michigan guy, Barstool guy, and he was trying to knock it down. He was going that's way too high of a spread for my guys. Washington's good. He's because he bets $1 million a game basically on these, and so he was trying. I think Michigan's a little scared of Washington. The one thing I have with Washington is their run defense, especially that first half against Texas, was not good. Michigan can just line up and just push you 3 yards back with and Blake Corum is really, really good. And so I'm kind of scared of that. I do think though that I don't think Michigan has the answer on defense to stop this Washington offense. You got Odunze. I don't know who, the other wide receiver is very good too, and I'm forgetting his name, but he's a stud too. They have a good run game. Their offensive line seems really good, and I think my pro comp for Michael Penix is, I know he has a bit of a stronger arm. I like it. I see a lot of Joe Burrow to him.
Oh yeah.
In a sense where he has a big offense, he can spread the ball around. It doesn't feel like anybody's being neglected. Like when Burrow was at LSU with Jefferson and Chase and all those guys, and I like the way he spreads that ball around. He's got effective mobility, not anything that you're gonna, I saw, what was his name? Michael Irvin said he was reminding him of Michael Vick, which was insane.
He's just really left-handed.
I know exactly. I'm like, no, and he said free my guy, out of jail after he said some stuff like that afterwards, and I'm like, he's like, oh, it reminds me of Michael Vick. No, he does not. He's not. I see a Burrow. I see a supercharged Tua to him, which I know is a left-handed thing, but I see a supercharged version of Tua. I became a big fan of his, and I hope they win this game as a Notre Dame fan. I hope they do. I'd love to see Washington win in the last year of the Pac-12. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah, because I mean, both these quarterbacks are a possibility for the Raiders to draft.
Yeah. Oh, now, JJ ain't coming out unless Harbaugh leaves.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like it's going to happen, right? I feel like JJ is going to come out. Now, Penix is interesting as a quarterback prospect because, when I went over the film versus Texas, there's some huge throws in there, but it's just how consistent is he going to be accurate wise? Because his mechanics are a little off, but he was so on that game that he wasn't missing like a lot of fans they watch Boise State. When I did the breakdown, he's missing these throws, some of these easy throws. This game, he wasn't missing them, right? But he had the same kind of mechanical issues, but he was just so in the zone that it didn't matter. And that's what I'm a little worried about with him. The consistent accuracy. He does a great deep pass, but they don't do anything intermediate either. NFL's an intermediate passing game.
Yeah, you're right. You don't see him get to that like running back in the flat, like you don't see him work to that the way that you saw another other guys like that. But I think he there's something there for sure. Like you watch, it's like, man, that.
Well, he's a cannon.
First off, Al Davis, he's QB1 under Al Davis. Let's say that much. I love just going back. Al Davis is going. I see the arm. I see a little bit of mobility. Al Davis drafts him number 1 overall.
Yeah, and he anticipates the deep passes really, really well. Something he does really, really well. See, my comp for him though is Phillip Rivers.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I mean,
Geno Smith,
he's got a little more wiggle. I like the Geno. I think he's a little bit better than Geno, but I do like the Geno. Here's my thing. What if the Raiders? Okay, I don't think Penix is a top 15 pick. I don't. I think somebody might do it. I don't think he's a top 15 pick. Now, what if the Raiders do what I said last episode and trade Devontae Adams for a top of the second round pick, right? To Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers are desperate. So let's say the Raiders take with their regular draft pick, let's say it's anywhere between 14 and 17. They take Rome Odunze. Then you trade up for Michael Penix with your second round pick. Where are we at?
I mean, we're pretty good there. I like
just
that.
saying. I think I'd like to get creative. I like to get creative with these type of things. This is like the start of the Raiders season right now for me.
Yeah. See, I didn't think that Penix was going to be a top 15 pick either, just based on his film and from watching Boise State and just seeing how he was career wise. But when I saw Daniel Jeremiah come out and say what he said about him, I was like, oh yeah, he's going first round. There's no way Daniel Jeremiah is going to come out and say it like. Because Daniel Jeremiah is basically the NFL scout, right? And he talks to NFL scouts, and it's basically how they feel about him.
Yeah.
So I think the NFL is really high on him.
No, people are gonna get excited because he's in the pocket. He's one of the better quarterbacks I've seen in a while. Just in the pocket, like just sitting there, trusting his offensive line, not getting skittish, even and just having a good timing. You're right about the short and intermediate, kind of the lacking areas. I do feel like that's coachable. I do.
Yeah.
I do feel like
Yes, sir. It's just the mechanics, bro. It's the mechanics are crazy. Because he's Phillip Rivers, man. He's a left-handed Phillip Rivers. He just pushes that football, but it's Phillip Rivers with a cannon. Phillip Rivers always had a little bit of a girly arm.
Yeah, and Penix can move a little bit better. Can move a little bit better outside the pocket. Phillip Rivers had actually pretty good pocket mobility, but the outside the pocket, I think Penix can turn it on every once in a while outside the pocket, like just here and there. You don't want him to do it too much with both ACLs and a shoulder. You don't want him to do that. The age is the one thing that never scares me. I don't care about how old the quarterback is.
Yeah, that's the stupidest thing with quarterbacks. Quarterbacks are better when they're older. Like what?
Yeah.
It's dumb.
I just talked about signing Kirk Cousins, who's going to be 36. So it's like
the NFL needs when the NFL is really good is when you have like 6 or 7 good 30-year-olds.
Yeah. Mark Brunell, is just balling out. 34 years old.
34, you know what I mean? I mean, like
ripping it. Yeah.
In like 2014, it's like Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers, Joe Flacco. All these guys are all 30, and and it just was the numbers were.
Agreed.
Agreed.
No, I'm with you. I take him. Anytime you take a quarterback that I think is good, it doesn't matter where you take him. I'm just saying it'd be fun to get creative. I want more picks in this draft. I want draft board mobility, basically, and flexibility.
See, the thing is, if his best 2 games are in the playoffs, I mean, because that was a way better game.
That was Stroud, though. But the thing is, Stroud was like that, too, where Stroud with that Georgia game, where I was kind of like, let's not base it all off one big game. But, it looked
obviously
good. It looked pretty good year one. So I think there might be a Stroud bump to Penix a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get out of here a second. Let's get some last couple questions 'cause I did like this one. Is AOC's rookie season better than Derek Carr's?
Probably, but DC didn't have anything his rookie
That's true.
year.
He didn't have Devontae Adams. He had
He had
James Jones.
nothing. Dennis Allen, who's his coach now, ironically, he might be a playoff quarterback with Dennis Allen right now, but
Yeah.
no, he had nothing. He had nothing his first year, so it's tough to say. Bad O line, bad everything, bad coach. So, yeah, no, but my thing with O'Connell is I'll say this: it's tough to say it's tough. It's tough to hate on him too much because he has played pretty damn good for a 4th round rookie.
He has, man. Cam Ward. I know he's a big guy. People really love. I got to get into Cam Ward.
I
But
don't see it.
I think I don't know. He actually might play for a different team. I don't know if he decided he wasn't fully coming out yet. I don't know if that's been announced, but
Well, he made that video saying he was declaring.
oh, he did.
Yeah, he
Okay.
did.
Is he going to the Senior Bowl?
I thought he was going to transfer to Ohio State. That's what I would have done if I were him and make like $5 million this year or $6 million. That's what I would do if I were him with the NIL.
I mean, he needs to go to the Senior Bowl, or
I think somebody's giving him bad advice coming out this year, in my opinion.
Yeah,
with the NIL, what it is.
Yeah, is Sean Desai good if he's got his?
Well, Matt Patricia's bad, so they didn't make the right adjustment.
I mean, Desai was pretty good in. Where was Desai? He was pretty good in Chicago for a little bit. When Fangio left, I think he became the DC over there. He was pretty decent for a little bit over there, and then he went over to Seattle and helped Pete Carroll a little bit. So, he might not be the best guy, but I mean, just definitely a connection.
Yeah.
All right, man. I think this Cam Ward did declare, so I'm bad at that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I think that's it, man. I think we're out of here.
I think we covered it all. I think there's no more. You're not going to get a better Raiders coaching debate. I'll tell you that much. So at that point, and that's why gambling's fun, because you see the odds and you react to the odds.
Exactly.
Even if you don't place bets, see what Vegas is thinking, and then give your take. Put your take next to Vegas's take. See what happens.
Because it could be Kellen Moore, man. And
that's the one thing. But does he draft Michael Penix because he's left-handed? Do they have an allegiance? I write left-handed. When I see people in movies, I all notice it. I just watched a movie with Julianne Moore, that little weird-ass Natalie Portman, Mary Kay Letourneau movie. She was writing left-handed. I noticed it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Southpaws, no southpaws.
Yeah, it's a cult.
All right, guys, we're out of here. Really appreciate you guys joining us. We weren't really long this time, but hey, it's a fun time hanging out with you guys. So definitely a great season doing this. Probably do some more of this in off season. We'll just probably
here and there. We'll a couple, once a month, just roundup, kind of Raider roundup thing. I'm in.
Yeah, and you do some draft stuff and stuff. So we're out of here, guys. Peace.